kind of moving away, and I'm gaining on it a little bit, and I'm going out there, and I figure I'm about 65 feet in water. Now, your body's a chemical factory. When you exercise, your body produces lactic acid, and it's a mild paralytic to keep your muscles from overworking your heart and blowing it up. How many athletes? I have athletes. You know what it means to be absolutely at the end of exhaustion? Okay, I mean, at the end of exhaustion, the only thing that's left is throw up. And I'm out there, and I suddenly realize, pardon my French, I realize, shit, I don't know if I can lift my arms up again. And if you're not moving in fresh water, you're going down, and the ball is real close. And two thoughts go through my mind. I hope when I leap for this ball, it doesn't have so much air in it that when I go to grab it, it goes bloop. And then the second thought was, I hope it has enough air in it when I reach out and grab it. It's going to keep us both up, or the ball and I are going down 65 feet. Well, obviously there was enough air in it. I'm exhausted. About 7 minutes later, the lactic acid dissipates, and I do my dog paddle in. I finally get where I can stand up, you know. And I start walking in, and I get to the sand. I give the little boy his beach ball. Everybody applauds. I sit down next to the wife. She says, "You okay?" And I said, "No." I said, "Tomorrow remind me to go to courthouse." She goes, "What?" She says, "What do you want to go to courthouse for?" I said, "I want to change my name." She said, "What? What do you want to change your name to?" I said, "Forrest. Forrest Gump. Stupid is stupid." I could have gone across the street and bought that boy another beach ball for $3. I was one stroke, literally one stroke, till you know that, one stroke away from drowning. Okay, that was a real story. Now, we're going to go to Hollywood. Hollywood's fantasy land, sort of, based on, okay, cool. Next week we go to the beach and everybody's there again. Same people. Only this time, instead of a beach ball out there, it's a little boy 50 yards further out than the week before when I was one stroke away from drowning. And he's drowning, yelling for help. And everybody remembers me. You need to go out there and try and save. Well, wait. I take out my trusty golf rangefinder. I said, wow, you know, he's 50 yards out further than was last week when I almost drowned, one stroke away from drowning. Well, you got to go out there. What? It's not going to happen. Well, you got to. Why do I have to? Because you can swim. Yeah, but I'm not going to make it. I got 2 babies here. I got 2 more in the oven I don't know about. Well, you got to go. I got to go. I got to go. And why don't you go and show me how to do it? To today's theory. We don't live in theory. We live in a real world where ethics and the life come together and real situations occur and decisions have to be made and lives are either saved or lives are either lost. And I can't legitimize losing my life for someone I don't know because I know I cannot save him. Why should I be compelled? Because you think it's the right thing to do? You go out and show me how to do it. I'm going to feel bad. I'm a sensitive guy, really. I'm going to feel bad for the rest of my life. I know I'm not going to make it. There's a really interesting movie called The Guardian with Kevin Costner and Ashton Kutcher. Costner is a Coast Guard sea rescue diver. Jumps out of helicopters to save people whose boats go down. And he's a hero. Everybody knows his name. The movie opens up and he almost fails and realizes he's probably at the end of his career, but he can't accept it. He goes back in and the Coast Guard captain says, look, I'm not sending you out again. I want you to go to camp where you can train these new bucks. And he doesn't want to do it, but he goes anywhere. And of course, there he meets Ashton Kutcher, this big-headed high school swim champion. And They do this throughout half the movie, and then after they work it out, they start doing this. And Kuchar graduates, and he gets sent up to Kodiak, where, what's his name? I forgot his name. Say it again. Costner, thank you. And they go out on one mission together, and again, Costner almost blows the mission, comes back in and realizes he's got to retire. And they go to the ante room, he empties out everything, and there's Kuchar, and Costner's his hero. And Kuchar's just watching his hero get everything together to leave, and just as Costner's ready to leave, Kuchar says, I got to know one thing, what's your real number? He's a hero, he saved countless lives. What's your real number? And Costner looks at him, because he's been asked that before, he won't answer it. But he realizes he's about to go separate ways, and he looks at this young man, and he looks at him, and finally Costner says, 22. And Kuchar says, 22, not bad, I thought it would be. Costner says, 22 is the number of people I couldn't save. It's the only number that matters. There's a time in life for you or first responders, you're going to have to learn how to let go. You can't save everybody. And that's the hardest thing in the world, people, to have to let go. To know no matter what you do, doctors on the operating table, they're suddenly going to say, it's over. They look at the clock, they mark the time, and that's when they stop. It's going to happen out in the field, happens in triage out in the military. It's the hardest thing for people who are committed to moral duty to do. It's their job. They sign up for it. They're committed to it. They're trained for it. And yet there comes a time in life when that critical decision has to be made. It's a moral decision that gets made on the ground in the middle of life. It's not in the ivory tower. It's not in the halls of theory anymore. We're out in the real world where ethics really applies. Do I have a right to defend myself with lethal force if I need to? Do I have a right to say no? I'm not going out there. I can't save that person. I'm not going out there. And it's not easy, people. Okay. One more time in Hollywood. Back at the beach, and everybody's there. Get everything set up on the beach. Get ready to enjoy the afternoon. And out there in the lake is not your child. It turns out it's my boy, Joe, my special needs boy. 50 yards out further than I could make it 2 weeks ago, drowning. What you think I'm going to do? I'm going out. I know I'm not going to make it. I know it. As soon as my feet hit the wall, I'm not going to make it. Here's what I want to have happen. I want that boy to be able to stay up long enough when I get out there, I can remind Joey how much I love him. He's my boy. I want to go down with him if we're both going to go down. Ultimate act of life, self-sacrifice. I know I'm not going to make it. Now, are those two things morally different or morally the same? What do we owe one another? It's an important question. Do I owe my kin more than I owe your kin? We'll get to that at the end of the semester. Do you see what I'm doing here? These are moral equations that work themselves out in real life. And for the most part, most of you who aren't first responders will not have to deal with it. Occasionally you will. There's a story about this back in, I think it was the early 80s at the Potomac River. Airplane takes off. It's now Reagan Airport. It was Dulles Airport then. Fella on a bridge watching a plane take off, and the plane doesn't make it. As soon as it leaves the runway, it goes right into the Potomac. Now airplanes, I failed drawing, so this is going to look ugly. That's good enough. Airplanes are made in 3 parts. There's a part here, and then the middle part. The safest place is back here, because this place is going down, and pilots assume moral duty that if there's a crash, they're not going to make it out. This end usually breaks off, and it's the safest place, survival place, but last on, last off. And this is the worst place to be if you're not going to be in the cockpit, because this is where all the fuel is. And if there's any air in there and fumes and a spark lights, it's horrible. This fellow watches this plane go down, breaks apart, people are thrown out into the river. It's wintertime, just minutes they'll go into hypothermia. He's the only one there. He literally watches it happen. He makes a decision. Jumps into the river and he starts saving lives. Saves 5 lives before he goes into hypothermia. About then the first responders show up, and a lady, a reporter, and she's watched most of this. They get the guy out, they blanket him up, try and warm him up, and then the first responders are going in trying to save more lives. The lady reporter goes up and says, "What were you thinking? You could have died." He said, "Yeah, I know, but I was the first one on. If I didn't jump in, maybe everybody would have died." Periodically, you might find yourselves in a deontological situation. You have a choice to make. Here's what I want. There's no right or wrong choice, people. Because we're people. We are governed by emotions as well as reason. And one day I might justify sacrificing my life, and another day I might not be able to justify that. Maybe I save it for my kid or waste it and for years I won't do it. I don't know how to tell you what to say and what to decide. It's never an easy decision. Life is not like that. I'm a Kantian. I believe in moral duty. No lying, stealing, cheating, raping, robbing. I started this on Tuesday till I got busted, 87 and 55? I told the truth. I was doing 127. He never caught me doing that. No lying, no stealing, no cheating, no raping, no robbing. And then one day the Nazis come to your door. Got any Jewish people in your basement? No. No. What just happened to no lying? Went right out the door. Kant was right, but Kant had it wrong. You learn that next week. There's a hierarchy of duty. Sanctity of life is at the very top. It's okay to lie if you're going to save a life. At least in my world, anyway. Now, maybe your world's different. That's okay with me. That's why you're in class, to learn how to make these decisions. So for the next week, we're going to talk about theory, and this will all look right, and we'll have our own opinions, but never forget that we don't live in the world of theory. We don't live in Disneyland. We don't live in Hollywood. We live right here on the street. Professor Powell, I ran out of time. Can you open the quiz for me, please? My mom's in the hospital. Sure. I had a retired policeman dying of liver cancer. Used to come to class and sleep all the time. He says, it's real important to me that I come to class and try and finish my life out right. Don't worry about it. Keep coming to class. My wife used to want to know why I kept going to work when I was going through cancer. Some days I'd go to work for 10 minutes, throw up, and have to come home. She says, why do you do that? Because every day I go to work, I win. I don't care if it's for 10 minutes or 10 hours. Hey, go sleep, I'm okay with it. Because that's where we live, isn't it? You all signed up for this, didn't you? Any questions for me, people? Did I blow away any first responders? Anyone? I've had a couple of them want to say something to me. That's okay. We all have values. I respect all those values.